Teenage mothers in school, do they have a right to be there? Do they encourage promiscuity? Should taxpayers be footing the bill? A pilot program in Sandpoint is raising the issue, and it's divided the school board, teachers, and parents, and left the students right in the middle. We'll see how the community has reacted. And kids in the boxing ring. Some say it keeps the violence off the streets. Others say it increases aggression, and still others claim it can result in permanent disability. But it's big news in Bonners Ferry, and we'll take a look. Plus a talk with former Senator Birch Bayh, tonight on Idaho Time. It was a big issue in last year's election campaign, along with the economy and the condition of the military. I'm talking about morality, and it became the rallying point for the new religious political action groups like the Moral Majority. The decline of our moral standards has been blamed for everything from crime in the streets to the sagging U.S. dollar. Hello everyone, I'm Parker Van Hecke. There's a pilot program being tried at Sandpoint High School for the first time in the state, and it's raising those questions of morality. It's a class for young women who are, or will soon be, mothers. Larry Gilstad has the story.
I see the main goal of the program as keeping young women, young mothers, young fathers in school with the idea that they can graduate.
The goal of the program, I feel, to be effective and contribute to the maximum benefit for society should be to reduce the incidence of illegitimate births where young children are having other children. The question is not a disagreement over goals. The question is a disagreement over means.
Teenage pregnancy, a moral, social, financial, and political problem of depressing proportions that hasn't bypassed a single community. But you don't hear much about it in the news unless some national study releases its latest findings or a TV movie dramatizes the subject. It's a topic uncomfortable to most parents, confusing to teens, and a dilemma to school systems caught in the middle of trying to meet the educational needs of all its students without alienating tax-paying parents with programs that deal with a subject some feel should be left alone. Sandpoint Senior High School is trying to deal with the problem. The class is called Teenage Parenting. Home economics teacher Dana Curtis saw the need for it when last year 9 women in her child development class, 20% of her students, were pregnant. She wrote the proposal, acquired grant money to fund 100% of this year's pilot program and 75% of next year's, then presented it to the Bonner County School Board. It was approved 4-1. According to Curtis, her students, other teachers, the high school principal, some parents, and a majority of the school board, the program works. According to the one board member who voted against the teenage parenting class, not only doesn't the program work, it encourages promiscuity and teenage pregnancy. But before we get to their arguments, first, some statistics.
Teenage pregnancies have tripled since 1971. These figures from 77 show 1 million, or 1 out of 10 teen pregnancies, and 1/5 of the nation's births are to teenagers. National figures also show an alarming dropout rate, no work experience prior to the pregnancy, and a high likelihood of ending up on the welfare rolls, no doubt contributing to an attempted suicide rate 7 times that of teen women without children. For the teen father, 1/3 will drop out, and if they support their child, chances are they'll remain in low-paying, low-esteemed jobs. For those teens who marry as a result of pregnancy, 80% will be divorced in less than 5 years. And sadly, teen parents are more likely to abuse their children than older couples. So what does all that mean in dollars and cents? A few years ago, the Stanford Research Institute projected the probable cost of welfare and medical payments to the 630,000 teenage mothers of '79 as not less than $8 billion over the next 20 years.
Have you been to Mrs. Curtis's class?
No, not personally, but I do have the materials and I have reviewed them thoroughly, I can assure you.
If they came to the school, into the class and saw what we were doing, we're not making it sound like, oh, it's so great, do it, You'll see in the facts, if you get pregnant, what's going to happen? Are you going to have an abortion? Are you going to adopt it? Are you going to keep it? It's more like, if you talk about it, you really think about it a lot more, because before, this class, it's kind of romantic. But when you get in here, you find out the facts about it. It's not all, good.
No, it's not all good. The students in the teenage parenting class will attest to that. They've got an uphill battle, and so does Dana Curtis. If the program is to continue next year, she has to convince the board or some other funding source to come up with $3,750. Not an outrageous sum, but in a period with both federal and state cutbacks in education, even that may be difficult.
So we're back to the beginning, a moral and financial dilemma. A controversial program that keeps teen mothers in school, that has a high cost per student ratio, that may anger enough taxpayers to make school bond levies even more difficult to pass, and cutting back even more of what some people consider educational frills.
I guess it depends on your opinion of basic education. And for these people, this is basic education. Without it, they wouldn't be here. As far as controversial, it's not controversial, it's just life. It's real, it's happening, and we can choose to ignore it, but in the end, society is the one that's going to have to deal with the problem.
The teen parenting and child development classes are part of the school's home economics department, and evidently some minds are being changed about the program. When the board reviewed the home economics curriculum recently, it passed barely 3-2.